I'm the best producer alive. I don't know that. Now, this is what everybody needs to know. What we all was getting ready to experience, what you already getting ready to be involved in. And before I tie to anything that you may be like, well, that's pseudo, or that's wrong, or that ain't right, or whatever the case may be, I'm just going to break down what you are knowing that's inevitable right in front of you. People having minor frustrations to try to reevaluate their status. People have to recalibrate the way that they correlate how they construct their life, their stability, their structure, their foundation, all the way down to how a person make that money. And it's all going to boil down to your face card, how you are seen to be in that position. Ultimately, is that word status or whatever. So this is what everybody having a struggle with, because we just had now just getting into the words and things of that nature that you may not like or care about. New moon energy. You know what I'm saying? New moon. You know what I'm saying? But we just had a new moon. You know what I'm saying? New moon and Cap. But before we get into that, we just dealing with cardinal earth energy. So you don't get lost and be like, oh, it ain't got nothing to do with that. Because it really, in that aspect, it don't. But everything ties together. If it wasn't humid that day or mid, and it had a clouds formate as a different temperature spectrum and stuff like that, it wouldn't have rained. Now, you could be like, oh, because earlier that day, you know what I'm saying, it didn't rain. Yeah, it didn't rain earlier that day. But based upon it becoming humid or a little bit mid, the temperature and stuff like that becoming a little bit more moist in it, you have to tie the two or two together. You just can't be like, oh, because I was outside with no coat, I got to wear a coat now, and you can't tie those two together as an accumulation. So for the most part, you just got to expand your mind a little bit more so you can know, regardless of what I'm getting ready to say that you believe or not, it ties in a little bit to other things that I'm going to tie in that is reality to you and stuff like that. So it's just a broader explanation for what we all go through, especially if you in the hood or whatever the case may be. And for the most part, or for anybody, you know what I'm saying, suburb, business, however the case may be, because especially we dealing with Capricorn energy and we get ready to go into Aquarius energy. But beyond that, just the energy that we are experiencing beyond zodiac or however the case may be, right? Everybody having to it's like you going through a bulldozer moment, a tower moment, or some type of tearing down when it comes to how you are seen, what you are known for, your status will ultimately can become your career, your popularity level, or if you already in that position to a certain degree, or to a large degree. But all of these things is being reevaluated, and you're kind of seeing what work and don't work. So you're throwing eggs against the wall to see what work or not, but you know that these are things that you have to change, because how you appear to be as far as your face card or your status or whatever is going to put you in a sweet spot right now. But the frustration comes from not knowing where that spot at. we in a new world, whole new different way of doing things of that nature. And those who creative enough know how to jump on something, pause, no homo, and those who don't gonna be left frustrated and complaining about what was already substantiated, but no one participating in that substantiation anymore. So it's like you trying to uphold something that you need to either update to that asset, adjust it, or move along. You know what I'm saying? It's like that kind of energy in some way, shape, or form. And you have to be creative right now, because that's the only thing that you're going to see. We in a time right now where people don't really understand that. Like, it's a free fall. What do I mean it's a free fall spiritually? Don't nobody know what's next. Don't sit around listening to nobody talking about what's next or whatever. Whatever you do, if it's creative, that's next. And it's on a percentage scale. Jealousy gonna be 10,000. Ego gonna be 10,000, because we in a space where all spirits know this is what we was all supposed to be doing anyway. So when one spirit just do it a little bit and not actually know that's what's going on, if you don't really catch on real fast, just as fast as you jumped on something, just as fast as it get taken from you, just as fast as it get swiped from you. And it's so slick. It could be even people like family, friends, associates, co-workers, and things of that nature, where it's so slick that it don't even have to play out like an enemy or someone that's just a friendly competition. It could be like a letdowner, stopping you from it, like it don't make sense. So, you know, your homeboys or your homegirls that made you feel validated, they don't give you that validation, take it from you, or they doing it. They'll start doing the same thing, or whatever the case may be. So don't listen to nobody. Ain't no example right now. You got to be the example. You gonna be the face of the billboard. So y'all gotta start auditioning and campaigning for what you do. Ain't no, I gotta wait to someone else. Oh, this looks similar to what I do. Oh, it look cool now. That ain't gonna work. You about to be the first person that look like you outside or something, and you probably had that idea first. Go for it. Go for it. Because as the sun go into Aquarius and things of that nature, the sociability of what you're substantiating right now with the sun in Capricorn and how it was in Sag and all that stuff, right, is going to take off. And you're going to have your own unique way of being able to be the representation of what's out there, aka wind, air, thought forms, and what you put out there. Or you're going to be able to have access to a large portion of that where other people are going to be exiled out of communication, formal networking that's high on the relatability and synchronized energy. They're going to be more into communicating about how negative something is, or how, because they're on the opposite end of something. They're not on the train road or the plane ticket on the flight to on the right direction of something creative, or whatever the case may be. So when a person can't find it, they end up trying to compete with a person that may have it. And then here's where, you know what I'm saying, you could watch your back. It can be your best friends or whatever the case may be during this particular time, because it's a new moon, and a new moon happened in Capricorn. And not just that, but just in general. That's just to generalize it. Earth energies is being torn down, or however the case. So when a person ain't got their status together, or what they're known for together, especially if what they known for appeared to work last week, appeared to work last month, appeared to work 5 months ago, or whatever the case may be, they're going to have a hard time getting the grips why it don't work now. You know what I'm saying? And it might still get respect, or whatever the case may be. It takes a person to get out their own ego to try something new, or to adjust, or to add on to that current assets. That shows the spirit even trying, even if it failed. Spirit's attracted to that energy. So when you try something else, you get other type of energy of why people give you attention in ways that we don't understand it. Is this what us spirits do? It's like you're trying to get fulfilled in something. You know what I'm saying? So when a spirit's scared to go through that because they too lost in their own bias emotion, they start thinking for other people and feeling for other people. Oh, this person gonna think this person gonna, and especially if you already failed too. Oh, I don't want to go through that feeling again. Oh, people gonna think, no, I'm saying you thinking about it wrong. That's all creation, what you doing, or whatever the case may be. You can't get to point C without experiencing point B, starting at your point A. But you'll get from point A to get to point B, don't like that first current reciprocation, or whatever the case may be, and then for the most part be scared to even go through point B again to reach a point C. Then you're always inspired to go to point C, but you end up finding manipulating ways to get there, so it'll be like little tricky little point B's that ain't really the full maximum potential of the B energy or whatever. So you get your shout out that shit, that was a twist of words. But for the most part, But getting from point A and things of that nature, right? You still there and you still want to get to point C, but now you start to take shortcuts. And the shortcuts look like monetary gain, point Bs, not actually the full potential. Other areas and things of that nature that you could have just went straight through something. You trying to go around something and it's going to actually take you longer to get to point C or whatever. And point C might not ever look like something inspiring after a while. Everything that you're dealing with, the shortcuts and stuff like that. So for the most part, you just have to make sure that you're looking at it like a process. And when we're thinking about it right now, everybody business, what they're known for, their status, this was being challenged, right? You might have been a person who even if we talk about music, you might have been a person who sold a lot of records or whatever the case may be. You don't see how you'll be able to do that right now, even if your last effort was everything went through smoothly. Once upon a time, especially before 2016, you was able to do the same type of metrics. You was able to do the same type of tactics with your team or whatever the case may be. And it was almost like a concept of it, if your team in a situation, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of situation. It's now like if something ain't broke, you ain't gotta fix it, but you gotta do something else. You can't even, it's like that kind of energy right now. So if people ain't understanding that, here's where you will be in a frustrating position, because you'll be trying to figure out what's going on with something that don't appear like it was not working. And then you're going to go overboard, and then that's when you're going to experience the crash out in a unnecessary way, where now you can't even go back to it when the shift come back around. You know what I'm saying? Now you can't come back to it when it's your time again, or whatever the case. You got to learn how to put things in the back pocket. And you got to also have enough energy where you got enough things in your back pocket, that back pocket energy, where you know it's the time and the shift. So you start to work on those things, and then when these things come back around, and another thing that you wasn't working on, but you was working on it on its time or whatever, now you got something to show. So when that time come around, it ain't like you got to run all over the place or overdo things or overcompensate, because that takes you into certain qualities where you fail at certain seconds throughout the day. And then it turned into certain days you end up becoming a hater, not knowing it and stuff like that. But it's really you being really upset about yourself in some way, shape, or form. And let's say you in an environment full of a lot of individuals and stuff like that. You might end up being in a position of making a mistake first before having that time to think that you just tripping at the moment. You know what I'm saying? You just tripping. And we know things hard. You know what I'm saying? Might not be no milk in the refrigerator at the moment. You know what I'm saying? You might was in a situation, because it'd be simple. It'd be little simple stuff like this in the hood. Like, you could have had a good week, a good month, and just because the next week or the next month wasn't as good as the last week or the last month or whatever the case may be, right? You might got children or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or you might got other type of situations dealing with individuals or whatever, and it feel bad that you can't do what you did last month, or it feel bad that you couldn't buy that same meal that you bought last month or whatever the case may be. And that alone will make you feel kind of weird, or however the case may be. And then depending on how many other individuals you're around, you know what I'm saying, you don't take that out on your family or whatever. You take that out on people outside, or however the case. So a lot of times this be energies that people be in, even when nothing serious going on anyway. It's just like a collection of things. You know what I'm saying? It could be a collection of that 10-second, 20-second moment that you didn't have like 100 times throughout that year, that you didn't have like 300 times throughout the past 2 years. So it's like a built up energy or whatever the case may be. So for the most part, it blow up at the wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time. You know what I'm saying? Wrong kitchen table, wrong food, you know what I'm saying? Wrong matter. You built animosity and things of that nature. Or you built elephants in the room where it wasn't necessarily needed to be. So you got to keep that in mind too. And a lot of us go through these energies due to the fact of just experiencing a tower moment with a status. Or bulldozer moment and whatever that you had going on, and it's not going on as sufficient as it was previously, however the case may be. And you know that it's things you got to readjust or reevaluate, but it might not be no clear example in front of you of what to do at the moment. And especially if you're a person that's been spoiled a little bit, and I ain't just talking about getting help with other individuals and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people be in people's lives to give y'all help with ideas and stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times you might be in a situation where you might start experiencing that same feeling and thought that you haven't, basically not knowing what to do, but you'll be able to compare and contrast. At least previously you had other people to give you example, or you had other people to assist you to a certain degree or whatever the case, but you may not have that right now. It's going to be all on you. And anytime you show a sense of I need assistance, or you show a sense of I might not know what to do, and you put your effort out there for others, individuals, to try to help you or whatever the case may be, you're going to feel hurt, and you're going to put another person in a position where they're going to start to feed off you, because they're in search for their status too. So a person to make their status off you needing them, a person to make their status off of them appearing to be in a better position than you, even when they ain't. But if you allow that person to have that type of credence or whatever the case around you, based upon you opening your mouth a little too much, or over exaggerating what this person actually, all they did was give you 75 cents or whatever the case, you start acting like this person gave you $300 or something like that, right? That'll have this person start having some unwarranted ego, right? And then they need you in order to have that ego, even when you ain't around and stuff like that. And anytime you start to not give it, if you don't know that's what's going on, that be those little minor animosities you start to build with your friends or your partner or your chick, you know what I'm saying? Or vice versa, your husband if you're a female, or, you know what I'm saying, a lot of y'all relationships and stuff like that. Y'all don't be knowing that spirits be weak on levels like that. That's what it means to be weak spirit, but people don't know what it means to build strength in the spirit world. So you be thinking you be building strength off external representations that don't got nothing to do with anything. So when you're going through the similar situation or something worse, you need that external representation again, where these was things you're supposed to build up on yourself. So the next time you're going through something similar, you don't have to react to it as harshly to build those extra neurons and adrenalines that's unnecessary, that go into other areas of your body that just make it nerve-wracking. Too much blood flowing through your veins at a time that you want to be calm, cool, and collected. You see what I'm saying? So these are things you're going to be dealing with right now. Cardinal earth energy. And as the sun go into Aquarius, it's still going to be that Saturn energy, because Aquarius is ruled by they ruled by the same depositor. Capricorn and Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. So it's going to be making us still experience restriction, boundary, and limits. It's just now it's going to be filtered through what we are associated with and our associations and how we conduct ourselves in a public arena, right? All that 11th house type thing. So when it comes to your associations and who you deal with, this is where you might start to experience boundaries, restrictions, and limits. And then in other areas where you might start to adjust or want to start associating yourself with, because you wasn't associating yourself with it previously, and you're starting to see that person, place, or thing, circumstance, or situation, or group of people as something that you can add on, adjust, or assess yourself with, and things of that nature, and start to ghost or separate or sweep up under the rug or detach or create a little distance between what you was just into, due to the fact of starting to see the seriousness of it or the boundaries, restrictions, and the limits of it to a certain degree. So for the most part, just know that this is what you're going through. So if you're in a high volatile, lost-minded kind of circumstance like the hood or whatever the case may be, you know, this will save you from making mistakes due to the fact of knowing that you may be experiencing these kind of energies, but sometimes we act before thinking due to the fact of how we get impacted. This is why you can feel sound. You know what I'm saying? Because beyond sound, sound gets developed from thought and feeling. And when you create a lot of thoughts and feelings and turn it into an emotion, and an emotion is an energy. So it's the inner fluid. So, you know, when you push off a certain energy, right, it's just a person who think and feel a lot. If a person ain't got no energy, they somewhere like one of them stoic individuals. They're trying to not have things on their they're trying not to create their first body. So they're chopping off pieces. They're chopping off this thought, chopping off this feeling. So they're lacking a collection of that, which is a mind, an emotion. Emotion is a collection of thoughts and feelings, or whatever the case may be. So for the most part, that's a person who's training themselves to go into spiritual hell. Now, it ain't about, or soul sleep. It ain't about expressing emotions and thoughts all over the place. It ain't what we do, is how you do it. Just like you make up your mind, you're supposed to be in control of these things. Control your emotions. Control your thought, not run away from them. You know what I'm saying? When you run away from them, you running away from the creation of life. So you trying to run away from how you got here in the first place. That's how we make blood. That's how you make adrenaline. That's how you make all the cell salts. That's how you make all your essential minerals and things of that nature. Thought and feeling. Think about someone who, we ain't even got to get into the word creative. Think about someone you attracted to, not even physically. It's just whatever they doing. It could be your friend or whatever the case may be and stuff like that. I guarantee they got a lot more thoughts and feelings on their mind that make them more erect, that have them have more adrenaline. And when I say erect, I'm not talking about sexually. I'm talking about them getting up and doing something that after that's already said and done, they're already exporting their inner energy externally. So whatever you're seeing after they already doing God's magic and stuff like that, that's what you're seeing, the after effects and stuff like that. Then you think that something's coming from it based upon their attention that they're doing. No, they already got a gift, the ability to even do something. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, that's that esoteric currency. So that's a person that got more thoughts and feelings than you. That's it. And you probably spend more time with your ability, using your mind, your ability to think and feel for external purposes, not your own. You don't know how to develop your own adrenaline. So it probably get weird for you when you have to crib by yourself too long. or you probably got to pick up the phone or whatever the case may be. And that's not to say you're going to look at everything through a bias as a counterpartmentalizing dichotomy or something like that. That's not to say pick one or the other. You're supposed to be a person that's always alone. No, you're supposed to be a double-edged sword. You know how to deal with people, and you know when there ain't nobody around how to be to your goddamn self. All right, you're a double-edged sword. Y'all be double-sided too much trying to pick one or the other or whatever the case may be, due to the fact of other mind frames you be in that just play out in other areas of your life, because it probably played out as a large percentage scale in another area of your life that you was able to counterpartmentalize it in your mind like this makes sense. So other things in your life that has a dichotomy to it, to you as a bias, what makes sense and don't make sense, you will apply something that ain't got nothing to do with that situation that made more sense though, so you could be in that same feeling of it makes sense. And here's how you be in that energy. If I'm wrong, I don't want to be right. You know what I'm saying? And Jesus Christ walked on water, I'm right, or some energy. You know what I'm saying? That's how you'll be in that energy. Because you'll be in some kind of concept where, okay, yeah, this helped me out in this area of life. So in this area of life that ain't got nothing to do with that, I still want to feel that energy of being protected. So that's really what you're searching for. So you would still do that same energy in that other area that ain't got nothing to do with this situation. And in this situation, people could be looking at you like you don't make no sense. And then you'll have to say like, well, if I'm wrong, I don't want to be right. And that could be anything. I just use religion as an example, but people get lost in their delusion of grandeur and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know that's what people are dealing with right now too. And when it comes into the earth energy, right? But Saturn itself is getting ready to be socialized. So, you know, a little more self-centered energy is going to be played out to a certain degree, but people are going to be willing to do that with individuals that they cool with, or individuals that they want to associate with. Like right now with the sun that was in Capricorn, this was probably one of the most selfish months ever. You know what I'm saying? Specifically this go around. You know what I'm saying? In 2025 and 2026, this go around. Like this Capricorn a little different than the 2024 and the 2023 and the 2022 and stuff like that. This one was like selfish. And everybody felt that. You know what I'm saying? And the people who probably found a game was in a position to even brag. If you go too far, you'll start to show ugly energy to God or whatever the case may be. But, you know, they know they felt that little energy like, oh, I can brag about something a little bit. Even a lot of people y'all never knew before that, even in a position to be able to brag. If they found something, they was able to do it a little bit. That goes to family, friends, associates, co-workers, even people y'all probably was watching online. Then it was other individuals who probably didn't find their game or whatever the case may be. So it was extreme frustration, but back to support it from the starting point of feeling like they're not getting support, or feeling like other people's statuses that they was cool with should have put them in a position or whatever the case may be. That was the main gripe when a person was just genuinely in a position that I'm speaking about, getting challenged on their status, getting challenged on what you're known for. And does your credential when it comes to what you did 5 years ago or 3 years ago or 10 years ago matter now? Because for the most part, it can even be something that even individuals was even doing that don't even appear to be like it's shut down or whatever the case may be. But you probably ain't adjusted now. So you might have been in a position of even complaining and stuff like that. So it's just important to switch up. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this is playing out in all areas: business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics. I even seen this being played out in battle rap and things of that nature. So all y'all battle rappers, y'all low-key can't get mad at Jay Mills. Yeah, y'all can't ever get mad at it. It's, y'all in the limbo. That's limbo right there. You know what I'm saying? So either y'all could come up with something, an add-on to that, so you could be the face of something, but you can't just completely copy. You know what I'm saying? Or you just can't completely jump out the window either. It got to be a reason behind it. So it's like the same thing. So he in a position of new thing. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't find it, you either get creative or you only gonna be a creative hater. You know what I'm saying? That's just only two routes. And that's just in the battle rap world. Imagine where is that in the business at the moment. White collar, blue collar, and things of that nature. We can see this in the music industry. We can see this in the comedian industry right now, and things of that nature. You can't wait to have one comedian get on Vlad TV or whatever the case may be, talk down on another comedian and stuff like that, so they can have a little Netflix special or whatever the case may be. Everybody is tearing everybody's status down for a certain degree, but the ones who can pick something new, you in like a little sweet pocket right now. Ones who can't, you got two routes: get at the esoteric drawing board, get creative in some way, shape, or form, or whatever field that you in, or you just gonna become a creative hater in some way. And then your next DJ Vlad interview is just naming the next 5 comedians of what they didn't do right, but they had the Netflix show. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get on DJ Vlad to tell them what they didn't do right in hopes you get your Netflix show. You already backwards. You know what I'm saying? You backwards a little bit and stuff like that. I don't even know why a lot of y'all comedians ain't even took y'all money, go get a building, Ricky Dink building or something like that already. Or a lot of y'all got nice houses and stuff like that. Go pick one of them good rooms, make it look like a studio or whatever, like make it look like Oprah, Jerry Springer or something like that, and kick it. You know what I'm saying? Start kicking it. You know what I'm saying? So all those jokes y'all wanted to say, but y'all couldn't say because y'all know y'all be having comedian ghostwriters and certain narratives that y'all gotta reach. So it be certain things that y'all probably did have, but you couldn't. Just like an artist, it be certain songs they wanted to add on the album, but it didn't want to mix or whatever like that. Boom, you get the comedian mixtape, your YouTube page. You know what I'm saying? Get the comedian mixtape. You know what I'm saying? See, y'all don't want to do that though, because y'all might show us how funny y'all ain't. How unnaturally funny y'all ain't. You know what I'm saying? That might be the thing though. That's why y'all might be scared to do that. Or we would have been had some new comedian. The last person who did something new and it wasn't quite that was DC Young Fly. That was the last person that did something new. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, he don't have to wait around to see if Ice Cube do another Friday to play Chris Tucker or something like that. At this point, you know what I'm saying? Make your own Friday, make your own Saturday. It's Saturday. I don't know why ain't nobody do that yet. It's Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and go pay Ludacris for the theme song. It's Saturday. It's thinking, go ahead and pay Ludacris for this Virgo ass. I know he like that. You see, Virgos like that money. You know what I'm saying? They like that money. You know what I'm saying? So he probably like that. He like, yeah, that sound good. That sound good. I ain't even gotta be in it. That sound good. He makes sense. But yeah, go ahead and pay Ludacris for the theme song. This Saturday. Go ahead and make it. I'm Saturday. Start a whole new series. Wait around on Friday for a whole month. No, I say on Friday, next Friday, Friday after next. You ain't trying to do another Friday or the Friday for a whole month. Go ahead and close the whole month out. You want to go ahead and close the whole month out? You know what I'm saying? F you there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ice Cube, though. But go ahead and start Saturday. You know what I'm saying? No, why ain't nobody do that? I think it's too much. It's too much hate in the world right now, and it's a larger percentage scale of individuals who ain't on the creative side. So it's just a bunch of creative haters. People using AI to creatively hate. People using themselves to creatively hate. It don't matter who they doing it on. Family, friend, associate, coworker, white collar, blue collar. The industry right now, you see what Warner Brothers going through right now. Like everybody going to war with each other. Everybody looking at what they got going on. Like, oh, this don't look up. This don't look like it's on the ups for the next month. Let's kind of readjust the banks. Let's readjust our bank account or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everybody going through that right now. But people going more through that and the non-creative side, and then another side of it, the creative hater side, instead of sitting down and figuring out something creative. So yeah, we coming out with all this technology and stuff like that. We just got a bunch of doorknobs. We got more percentage scale of doorknobs of people in the world that ain't using this new stuff to make something new in the world. Make something creative. It's like, dang. And it seemed like the musicians using the AI stuff better than what AI was supposed to be used for in the first place. So it's like the music industry or people who make music is more creative than people, just with technology in some way. Because think about it, like someone in video games could have been using Sora for the new wrestling and stuff like that. You could unlock special gadgets to get Tupac to wrestle right and stuff like that. But see, they dropping the ball. You got all kind of musicians using the sound thing to make new samples for their beats, to put drums on and stuff like that. I might start getting into that. Like, but I'll be trying to, I don't like, that's why I never got on auto-tune. But I hear people who do that. Now I like that. I don't like what Timberland doing, but I like that. I like that. You know what I'm saying? People coming up with whole new samples that you could put drums on and stuff like that. That's dope and stuff like that. That's gonna make way more money than whoever sat around and just like, oh, this is a new engineer. I don't know how to make beats, so let me just type it in. I want a beat like this, and I want vocals like this, and goddamn it, what they call them, Spotify take it down. You know what I'm saying? this was Spotify to take down a whole AI Timberland song and stuff like that. You ain't Timberland. You ain't got no record deal for them to work through you as a puppet to see if it works or not. You just some rinky-dink person in the basement. It ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand these things, or the attic, or the car, however the case may be. See what I'm saying? So just go get some talent. Just go learn how to play an instrument. Just go learn how to actually rap. Go learn how to actually sing, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Now that stuff is creative. That's how you know a person to make a beat like that can just as like how y'all listen to old songs, Michael Jackson or whatever like that. That's a beat, right? So how does that position is not the technology being used to make way more money than whatever bull crap y'all doing it for? You know what I'm saying? Where we can see examples. There's musicians, there's even people who made movies and stuff like that used it in a better way. Not like that Avenger, what was that last thing I seen? Wolverine and Daredevil. You could tell all of it was, I don't even think none of the movie actors was there. Yo, like, what is this? What is this, man? You know what I'm saying? But when they was doing it better, like earlier, the Star Wars times and stuff like that, when I know the CGI may look terrible now, but it was still new technology, and those are still movies people love to this day, to being fanatics, buying all the toys, all the stuff and things of that nature, or whatever the case may be, and the movie. So that lets you know when someone was creative using something that we was bringing new to the world, or the government was bringing new to the world as far as technology, and therefore that's standing the test of time. So and then you could kind of look at that. I guarantee if you a Star Wars fan right now, you don't even care about how terrible the CGI look. Back then it was still like, let's compare it to now, like how we got AI. It's an update or something. But think about it. It ain't just about that. Somebody creative was behind it. That's why you always go to the old Star Wars movies, and anytime you start talking about the new Star Wars movies, you know it's trash. No matter how new beautifully it looked, or how new less effort and lazy the director had to be, there's something behind it that's not there anymore. That creativity. You see what I'm saying? So let's never lose that to a certain degree, because that's what make anything we use. Always remember, it's the spirit creating the mind create the body, and the body create the external representations. So when you see the three pillars, you might get lost if you think the mind is the spirit. So you think the spirit is the characters or the emotions itself. So you'll get lost and thinking that it's spirit, mind, and body when you seeing three pillars. That's wrong. The spirit is the hidden one, and then for the most part, you're seeing mind, body, and gadget. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. So the mind try to mimic the spirit because the spirit created the mind. The body try to mimic the mind because the mind created the body. The organs, that's what it bends down to be. And the gadgets mimic the body because the body mimicked because the body created the gadgets. This is what we call conveniences. Chairs, cell phones, and things of that nature, right? So we can't get lost into giving too much credence into things that mimic the body because it just suits the body. Physical, external things that we create suit the body. The body itself suits the mind, and the mind itself suits the spirit, the individual spirit, which is the soul. So, you know, you have to understand it in that order, and then y'all would get lost. The spirit could be lost into objects and willing to hurt their flesh and things of that nature. A person could be lost in the flesh and willing to hurt their mind and take their mind through turmoil thoughts and feelings and things of that nature and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And a person could just not care about the spirit, and these things just run out of whack without being in control. Their mind, collection of thoughts and feelings, their first body is out of control, their physical and hormones and fluctuations and illnesses is out of control, and then they don't have no access to any physical representation that can support it either, and things of that nature. So that's when a person is out of order. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit could be lost in the mind, body, or the physical object. And if you don't understand the order and what made what, you could be lost in the physical object for things that you want your mind, that's on your mind. And that's you're forgetting what's in between. Your mind had to use the body to get that. You're going to be all over the place thinking you're going to get something out of a situation when you start to physically jump in it and then get rocked to sleep, get poked out, showed your lie. You know what I'm saying? People can see you clearly manipulating and you ain't even get far with your manipulating. You see what I'm saying? Because you was over exaggerating because it probably worked last time. So took the physical, what you did out of it, and just the thought you was in before it bit in and become the physical, and then the object you got out of it was successful the previous time. You separated the way your elbow moved. Another spirit you're around can catch on to it. You know what I'm saying? If you're around powerful spirits, you might get around 2, 3, 4, 5 people, one, you know what I'm saying, every now and then. But you'll meet your match. Because you're already on that train of thought. You're already on that line of reasoning, or whatever the case may be. So you just got to know this how the mind metrics work. It's an order. It's a procedure to this thing. And you know what I'm talking about is true. It's just when you're so distracted into, let's say, the physical, and there was a lot of situations that happened due to the fact of trying to obtain, protect, or uphold the things that the body, the physical, have created, and things of that nature, because it helps us with our shelter or whatever, right? Then you play those mind games with other individuals and stuff like that, right? This is you out of whack, because you don't know what's more important, right? And the spirit is always more important. So you might think you your mind one day. So you might think you how you think, and you think other people think and feel about you that way. You get your pride hurt. Then you might think you the physical thing the one day. You know what I'm saying? You might think whatever your objects is, you that, and people around you and care about you, not knowing, no, they just care about that object, but you're willing to flaunt that object because you know that's the only thing that's going to keep them around. So you feel like you are that thing. And when that thing start to lose its energy or separate from you, or you don't have as much of it before, whatever the case may be, you start to scatter. You start to get into danger mode in the spirit. You start to run around chaotic or whatever. Then you start to throw that energy on who you were supposed to have been throwing on previously, because these people wasn't supposed to be around you anyway. But now you want to act like you smart. Now you want to act like, oh, y'all was only around because of that. Duh! You know what I'm saying? You just lured your own stupid spirit and felt like you wasn't nothing else but that physical object, because you was out of order. Then there might be a lot of situations that you think you the body first, or whatever the case may be. So you think everything is about your physical, whether you beautiful as a female, or ugly, or handsome as a man, or down trot mouth, goddamn rusty muffler Delta 88 face, or however the case it may be. You know what I'm saying? So these are the main things you going through, or whatever the case may be. Everything and all your decision making and all your reaction and why you feel and the funk you in is because you ugly. You know what I'm saying? Or everything you think you deserve, or whatever the case may be, is because you think you God's gift, because you look in the mirror, or whatever the case may be, and you get ready to get your pride hurt too a little bit and stuff like that, because you just separated from the actual order. You don't know what you want you in. You just sometimes be in your mind, sometimes you be in your body, and sometimes you be in the physical objects that your body made. But remember, physical objects mimic the body because the body made it. The body mimics the mind because the mind made it. And the mind mimics the spirit because the spirit made it. And then sometimes you get confused because that's the last layer of the onion. So you get confused. You don't know if you your thought or your feelings or the observer. So let me use that term observer to separate it from your mind, so you can know, yeah, you the observer. You're something separate than your thoughts and feelings. Because I'm pretty sure you had a lot of thoughts and feelings 5 years ago that you don't have anymore. So you get ready to say that you lost yourself or whatever. No, you are observing, you having many experiences, you making many different bodies, many different thoughts. So what is that thing? That thing ain't a thought. That thing ain't a feeling. That thing is experiencing thoughts. That thing is experiencing feelings. That thing is experiencing a mind. That's the mysterious thing. That's the unseen thing. You see what I'm saying? That's the magical. That gets us all connected to God. Now, what you choose to do with your own creation, your mind, your first body, that's on you. You see what I'm saying? Make up your mind. Make sure you find how to think like something more superior than you, so the way you think could be more sufficient. It ain't what we do, it's how we do it. So we all got the ability to think. But you could be on the road, or you could be in an area that has a certain thought process that if you don't think that way, you get smashed like a jelly bean, like LL Cool J said. You see what I'm saying? If you don't know how to swim, you'll drown. That's a certain way of thinking and moving your body. If you don't know how to get out the way, being a deer in the headlights, you're going to get hit with a car because you don't understand. You lost in the glamour. You lost in all the fantasy and the lights and all of the lights, all in the lights and things of that nature, and got in the wrong place, wrong time type of situation. Now you're like, oh, be careful what you ask for. If you ain't in a halfway house or dead. You know what I'm saying? Thing. We don't wish that on nobody and things of that nature. But at the same time, you know, these are the situations we need to understand. Since you know you on earth and there's a certain way of doing things, how do you learn how to do it? Having a way of thinking, or seeing someone else who had a way of thinking, all the way down to minor things, all the way down like animals and their way of thinking, bugs the way they thinking. It's a mosquito having the way they think, and you know the way they think, it's time to get away from something that think like that before you get a big old bump on your arm or the back of your neck. So at some point, you know that, okay, it ain't the specific, the what, but it's the how. So we all thinking, so there must be another way to think to make sure this situation I'm going through is much more smoother than how I went through it previously, or how I seen somebody else go through it and they experienced the worst, or however the case may be. And once you get into that area, now you're starting to broaden your mind a little bit. Start to separate from some of your biases you would take to that spiritual space, because those are cloths. Those are like add-ons to your spaceship, your first body, your mind that's not needed. You got them from somewhere else when you was in another space. Separate those. It ain't gonna do nothing but cloud your judgment. It ain't gonna do nothing but make you go to this area that's closer to God with foggy spaceship windows. You know what I'm saying? You got clean windows, so your trajectory is gonna be wrong. What you're seeing, your projection is gonna be faulty. You know what I'm saying? And it might just lead you right back into a previous way of thinking, aka you jumped into that previous spaceship and went back into that direction, separate from something that probably could have expanded your mind, brought you some creative gold down here, and put you in a position where you don't have to act out or have these faulty thought processes that you be in that make you feel unmotivated, to make you feel like no one got your back. And a lot of times when people ain't got your back, God got your back. You just don't be in that spiritual space. You in everybody else's spiritual space with your own weak thought, waiting for them to give you some gas. They thought and feeling to put in your spaceship, your thought and feeling to think so you can get up and go to distance somewhere. And that ain't supposed to be your support system all the time. These are things you're supposed to develop yourself. Just like if you was broke and you ain't had no gas and ain't nobody around you to help you out with that. You got to figure it out yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? Same way in the spiritual world. Same way. And God helped those who help themselves. So when you in that energy, that's what it means, helping themselves. It ain't got nothing to do with what you got physically. And when you do this magic, it manifests physically because you're doing the actual order. You see what I'm saying? Let's say let's make this an example. You and someone you know, and y'all both in this situation. By vicariously, y'all both in, if that's the word for it. Y'all both need some gas, or whatever the case may be, or just anything, but y'all both broke. Let's say one person can't handle their mind before it bend in and become physical, right? So they're all over the place, and they need other people's advice, or this their way of coming across for other people help. Maybe a certain way that represents a space that they're in spiritually. And let's say you is in the space of, yeah, I'm damaged, but I ain't about to throw that on others. AKA be in a spiritual space that this person in, where you even start having this other idea that you're victimizing yourself. Yeah, I'm only broke with no gas because I bought you that hamburger last week. Oh yeah, I only catch this because you was late on the bill last week. And you see what I'm saying? Like that's once they get too far, or whatever the case. In this area, you're building your own esoteric currency when you ain't in that space, and you're in this type of you're creating a different thought and feeling because you ain't in that other space to create those thought and feelings, the negativity ones. So when you in this thought and space of saying, well, all right, I ain't gonna feel bad, it ain't nobody else's fault, and whatever meant to be is just meant to be, and I already got gas, or I didn't. So when it's in reverse when you think about it like that. You know you ain't got gas, you're just making up a reason why it's good. Why that's a good reason. Even if it's something bad and you think you had something good to do or whatever. You're transmuting that mental mind state into something that appears to be better than it being worse. So you change it into that actual train of thought and line of reasoning. Man, something will happen where somebody will look out. Something will happen where something will happen. And then when you always in that energy, you always got back pockety energy anyway. It's always something you already doing that is like a shift that comes back around, and that helps you out with whatever you got to do, or whatever the case may be. The other person to be funky, because God looking at that person like you're not building your own inner goal. You're not making your own thought and feeling. And since you have no choice but to make your own thought and feeling, you need assistance from others to make you charge up your own. So for the most part, you're trying to make others pay attention, aka take their esoteric currency, their thoughts and feelings and their gold, and give it to you. Pay attention to you because you lack building your own gold. So if they can pay you attention, you can feel validated for your problem, feel validated for your issue. They're paying you. Now you're draining them. They're getting spiritually broke now. You're getting spiritually rich. But how you're getting rich is a thief. So God looking at that like you're not doing this on your own or whatever. God help those who help them or help themselves. So you're going to be in a situation where you always need validation before you do something. And those days that you could be building your creativity, you're not doing it. So you probably a person who ain't creative. You end up being a victim bombing type of person anyway. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, people around you who close to you gonna get tired of you and things of that nature. That's how I start playing out, because they spirit and who they go to and stuff like that gonna be like, all right, man, it's time for us to separate. You know what I'm saying? It's time for this individual is in some type of hellhole or whatever the case may be. So you gotta get this person out of there or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not hellhole, hellhole. You can count on me to get you out of that if you in that world. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's how a person look at it or whatever. So look at it like that. Don't worry about because you're doing something in the order. You're doing it spirit, mind, physical, then external object. When you do it in that order, your spirit just worked in that area, and then it just works with the mind. God love that. So your physical don't take a condensing of depression blood flow when you condense, because you got a depressing thought and feeling. It don't manifest as those. Even if you're in a depressing state, you're trying to transmute it. Remember, you ain't God. At least try. So the trying is actually something. You still transmute it. You don't be in a worse physical situation than someone else. Internally, like you don't feel as down, even though it's that down time or whatever. It's someone else who's even more down. And if you allow yourself to go down that train of thought and line of reasoning further, you will be in those same situations as bums in a bus station, where their external representations even match. The physical representation even match where their mentality was at, because they was in a spiritual wrong location away from God. You see what I'm saying? So it starts to show that they're dirty in all other areas because they was out of order or whatever. But that's how God see it. You know what I'm saying? You just have to know that's what's really going on, because you move your first body anyway, your mind. You know this is second. That's second. Your mind is your first body for your spirit. You move that one around first. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel like moving that one around, this one ain't gonna be doing nothing. This one is gonna be flabby, moving around, trying to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing unmotivated, binge watch, just want to do things that lead into what it created, which is we created all the this itself created all the fleshly fluids in the world too and stuff like that. So you will start to gravitate towards those things. Sit around and want to binge eat. You know what I'm saying? Sit around and want to stress eat and stuff. I meant to say binge watch. But binge watch. Stress eat. You know what I'm saying? And be in situations where seconds, minutes, hours throughout your day is not going towards your creativity, not going towards things that could put that represent your spiritual space, creating better, healthier mind states that come down to be better actions that lead into eventually being better external gadgets or conveniences or pleasures and stuff like that, not destructive ones and bad habits and stuff like that. And God will show you that based upon the grave lengths you have to go through to obtain it. You don't need it in the first place. These are things taking you away from creativity. If you're creative, these are things you have access to because it's part of the creativity. So this is how God talks to you. Spirits, just like you, we all create the first body, the mind state. But before it becomes flesh, it play out as a body form, a container, and the container play out as circumstances and situations. So anytime you're in a circumstance or a situation, the circumstance is the circumference of it. If it's a lot of situations, a lot of thoughts and feelings and spirits involved, including yourself, right, it widens it up. So there's a lot of things you have to go through and a lot of phases you have to go through in it, right? If it's a small circumstance, it ain't a lot of things you have to go through. It's you just deal with it or whatever. So the situation is what your spirit sitting in, and the nation is just a collection of thoughts and feelings. We all create children. The feelings is the women, the thoughts is the men. And that we're fulfilling these spaces before we see it as light and air and wind. There's just thoughts first. It's feelings first. And all spirits, one's born and not. And this is how you was born here and stuff like that. So for the most part, when you're going through a situation, your spirit is going through a portal. And a portal ain't nothing but a thought frame. A thought frame is like the ocean we're in, where all of our minds connected together, right? To condense and become the external world to the less dense, to the heavier dense physical representations. And this is how we're experiencing it. So Spirits create situations all the time, just like you sit around, create a situation. You sit around, spiritually ponder. Now you're emanating thoughts and feelings that represent the spiritual space you in. Then you start to physically take action on these things that represent that spiritual space you was in, whether it's a negative or a positive one. So a lot of y'all, even when you by yourself, you ain't by yourself. A lot of y'all create situations and stuff like that. Pardon me. And spirits is involved. So let's say you're going through an experience that's new, whether it's negative or positive. It's less on the percentage scale of your involvement. Your thoughts and feelings is small. It's other spirits involved with larger percentage scale. And let's say you're there with a collection of people and they're having a new experience too. Other people may be more experienced on it than you. Like they might have went to Disney more than you, but y'all all experiencing a new situation there or whatever the case may be. There's another spirit that's more involved in all y'all that probably ain't even in the physical, and a collection of spirits there, and all y'all work as a communion to create that situation. So when you're interacting with a spirit body that ain't in a physical flesh body yet, right? That's just a situation. You know what I'm saying? You might have thoughts and feelings you ain't had before. So when you start thinking about your thoughts and feelings, and then you start thinking differently about it, like you got a different perception about it, you're starting to see it differently. You might have had a favorite song, and now you got a different idea about it. You don't like it no more, or it was something you did like. I mean, it was something you didn't like, and now you start liking it and stuff like that. You're dealing with a different spirit. So you spiritually traveled to a different space. So you shedded a bunch of old dead weight, old body forms and clothing, thoughts and feelings, and went into a different space you wasn't usually be in to collect those previous ones you had. And then as you start to shed, you also interacted with other spirits in that other arena, in that other spiritual spatial area, a noumenal pocket. And then for the most part, y'all start creating different situations together. But first it start playing out as different ways of seeing something. You're in a different area than where you was seeing something that you were seeing before from a different angle. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to play out as a like or a dislike now, or it may play out as a way of doing something, or whatever the case may be. So you got to know that it ain't all you. You ain't had that thought before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're piggybacking, but you're dealing with spirits all the time. And spirits is situations before they become children. You know what I'm saying? Before they become adrenalines and stuff like that. This the first body. So let's say if you died right now, and before you shed your mind, if you ain't had grace, you're going to be in your mind for a long time. But let's say before you shed your mind, that's going to be your last spaceship ride before you get back into the washing machine cycle and be born again. Your spirit is in the first body, the mind. And the mind is a thought and feeling. Collection of thoughts and feelings. And a collection of thoughts and feelings is a nature, a character. And a character represents the location. You could be in a negative, a dangerous type of one, because a lot of y'all be in these places, but since there's so many spirits still there that has grace, because it got in sync and relatable energy there, you could be born just like they was born back here, but you still got those same energies you didn't shed. So you still only know how to make a person who's a thief, or a person who know how to be dangerous, or a person, it ain't nothing wrong being dangerous, but just for the wrong reasons or whatever the case may be. So you manifest those type of situations in your life because you are a spirit. See what I'm saying? But for the most part, you are a floating situation. It's beyond a cloud. You're just a floating situation. You know what I'm saying? But as a space, you're always able to make a new situation, a new mind state. So that's the new first glorified body. So once you get naked again, by default, you're able to become aware again, and that's your first substance, your first new body. And hopefully you're in a different spiritual space, so you have a new awareness. It ain't no negative one. You're getting ready to be a thief again, some degenerate again, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because energies like that, there's so many spirits in that space still, in sync and relatability energies, and people trying to learn how to do better still there and stuff like that. So you always got a way to come back. You got to be highly degenerate, just go to extreme spiritual soul sleep. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't going nowhere. When people don't think this is the only life, especially if you're an atheist. If that's the case, shut off all your experiencing energy then. What you think experiencing is. You don't stop experiencing. That's like when you know how many spirits would have got scared when they went to sleep, and they're still able to experience a form of a life, right? Now, you could overthink to yourself because you might be an atheist or a scientist. Well, it's just how the brain works, and it's just the mind. Bruh, the mind. You never seen nobody convey it. You never see nobody could do anything with it, yet you got it. You trying to make it not magical. You trying to talk yourself into it being something normal. You tried, you know what I'm saying? These are things atheists have to do or scientists have to do. But the simple fact, it's called the mind. We ain't got no other term to give it. I mean, we had other terms, but I'm saying you're trying to normalize it. But think about what you're trying to normalize. You can't. You know what I'm saying? So you can get lost in the words. Y'all idol worship. But y'all so lost into, like I said, y'all out of order. You lost in the mind and the flesh and what the flesh make. You forget what we actually doing. Ain't nothing scientific about the mind. I don't care what you talking about. I don't care what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? You could start there before you get into God or whatever. Y'all just colonized out in y'all brain, especially if you went to college. So you hear the term mind, and y'all so lost in the like y'all, everybody, all ethnicities, y'all lost in so much capitalism. You use these things, so it just become a side talking point. But do you know what you talking about? Because you sure can't go pick it from a book in the library. You sure can't weigh it or whatever the case. You see what I'm saying? So whatever you want to talk about magical, what else would it be? It ain't God's fault. Y'all trying to root everything to the point that things you can't even root, you don't even see it that way no more. You see everything as trying to root something or whatever. So it's like God don't know what to do at some point. But ain't nothing ever gonna make the mind not magical. Ain't nothing gonna, you ain't gonna never be able to make yourself scientifically understand what the hell is you experiencing in a dream. What the hell is you experiencing when you just thinking, even when you woke and you daydreaming? It ain't nothing. I don't care what you do. All we can do is create external physical things to try to process the heart and the brain, to do some strange things for a piece of change. That's all it leads to. It's a piece of change. You still ain't gonna find a mind to be able to weigh it. So I don't care if you believe in a spirit, you believe in magic, or whatever the case may be. Last time I checked, I like to make things simple. And making things simple, it ain't saying don't believe in spirituality and mind and magic. No, it's saying make things simple. What the hell is the mind? If that ain't what magic is, I don't care what you talking about. You ain't about to tell me I could be asleep or something like that and I'm experiencing that. What is that? You don't get to make up paragraphs in English, and just because in your mind that's what makes it simple. That don't make it simple. How that make this is life. Life didn't have to be this way, but it's this way. So like I don't know what y'all be talking about. Like y'all be lost. That's something you need to start learning as just a life, more than just how you eat every day, or you need a job every day. You need to start looking at that like that's serious, or you wouldn't be here. Obviously, that got something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? People will be like, I don't believe in magic. Straight up thinking. I guarantee a bear wish they could think like a human at the moment. They got to evolve a little bit as a spiritual root race. You know what I'm saying? I hate to use that term because people start saying pseudo or whatever, but it's just a spiritual group of pockets that have similar thoughts and feelings, which is nature's. So y'all gonna make y'all heart and brain similar than other species that's in other spiritual pockets. So we all share this experience, big old space, but we got different worlds, mind states, and it bend in and become different fleshly fluids. So we all doing something similar, think and make organs. We just construct it in different ways. So yeah, we all can make a thought and we all can make a brain, but we all gonna do it in different ways. So you got an alligator brain. So the group of spirits that made that thought form, mathematics condensed and became that type of brain organ. So how we do it, we all do it different. But what we doing is what we all do the same. God gave us all that ability. You know what I'm saying? God gave us all that ability. But yeah, damn, we an hour in already. But yeah, y'all got to peep game. You know what I'm saying? Get in the spiritual fight. Know that's what it is. And know that's what make you cold. I don't care what kind of disability you got, or especially if it's the physical one. I hate when someone get too depressed about the physical one. Trust me, the worse the physical, the more that the spirit is reminded it's all about the mind. You could be in a wheelchair with two left toe knuckles left and stuff like that. If you be more in that pocket of trying to change it into a positive, then the pocket that's depressed, the person in the wheelchair that's depressed gonna continue to be depressed until they need baby feed and they still young. They went through an accident earlier. The person ain't. God gonna be giving them ways that it's gonna be things that they do that they don't need assistance with. They're gonna be like, don't do that for me. That's the little thing I got that I could do myself that make me feel like I'm me. Eventually they might get up and start walking. A toe might grow back. All kind of, I'm telling you. All kind of stuff. And they end up developing something creative where it replaced whatever nakedness the other one in the position in that they couldn't build up for themselves, that inner goal. And that's all God be wanting you to do. And God's showing you too when you do that. Let's say you is in a external with the body made and the body physical debilitation or whatever. God is showing you spiritually you might have been on the wrong path. And there's probably things in your own life that you want to say it ain't my fault, but you know that the group of people you're around and how you deal with family, friends, and associates, you know it got something to do with how you're doing it though. And you know you could tie that to that. If it was a previous life, I can understand that. And if I stop that, you're stopping that, developing that first kind of weak body. You're automatically in a different space. And if you get that grace to Yahlahuè, God, right, it's going to be more where that came from. And it's going to start pouring in. New mind states pouring in. New blood adrenaline pouring in. New ways that your organs start to reshape pouring in. New external creativities and things of that nature. Now you're in order. Spirit, mind, body, external shelter. You know what I'm saying? Now you ain't got to worry about if the external shelter start to lessen up because you know you always got the physical strength, because you know you always got the mind state, and you know you always in that spiritual space is more where that came from. And I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight body, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duty and responsibilities. You know, for sure. Raktaswa, Yahlahuè, Massasoit. Got them in Err'Body. I don't know. I'm all over the place and stuff like that because I ain't know this was all over the. But Err'Body, Massasoit, Haël'Ho, Yahlahuè, Massasoit. Over that.